So it's probably the first time Rex has ever actually driven his Tirana.
Doesn't go as well as I thought it would.
Doesn't go very well with no motors. Alright, so we are back and actually doing work on the Cressida again today. So there's also been a development in what I'm going to do with the Cressida. I sort of thought long and hard about the whole project and sort of why I wanted to build it in the first place and what was going on with it, and I've sort of decided just to actually go back to building just a dedicated track car. Basically building something that's street registerable, for one, is a lot more work, it's a lot more of a pain in the ass. And also, like I said, I wouldn't be able to get it registered turboed straight up, so I have to build it aspirated, so it's just so much fucking around. It's just so much easier just to build it straight up, drift car. And yeah, it just saves heaps of time and redoing stuff and doing all that sort of crap. And like the whole reason I wanted to build another car was because I really wanted to build a competitive drift car. And actually the only reason I even decided to build it into a street car was because the shell I had at that time, which is the shell Adam's got now, was so tidy it didn't make sense to pretty much scrap it into just a track car. But obviously I don't have that shell anymore. Now I've got this shell, which just is not as tidy. So it pretty much, yeah, it just seems like a whole lot of extra work and extra money and extra time to build something that's literally just going to get me in trouble, and it's not even going to be a very nice street car anyway. Like by the time you get solid diff mounts and solid rear subframe mounts and all that sort of stuff in it, it's not exactly something that's really nice to jump in and go for a drive on the street, especially around here because the roads are all fucked. So that's sort of what's going on there now. So yeah, it changes a few things. Obviously, firstly, I'm going straight to turbo. Secondly, I've decided because it's not going to be a street car, I'm just going to go E85. That sort of helps as far as keeping temps and all that sort of shit down. Runs cooler, it's cleaner fuel, so. Woo! Just a bit of a snake show. Oh, wise man. She got some pepper. Ready? Check out this entry. Wise fab, wise fab. Buckle up for safety. Buckle up. Hell yeah, son! That's considerably easier with two people. So now I'm going straight to E85. I've got already a like a cell that I was actually given a long time ago by Matt. So thanks to Matt. So that's sort of free. And plan for today is to try and fit the old 80 series Land Cruiser brake pedal into the Cressida, because if I can fit that, sorry, clutch pedal. That's what I meant to say. So plan for today is to fit the old 80 series clutch pedal, which was taken out, obviously, because we're going auto into the 80 series. And the 80 series master cylinder is actually the right bore for the TVD6 Slave. So if we can fit the pedal, that will save me a fair bit of money because I don't have to buy a KE Conversions pedal kit. So again, that's another sort of free thing to do. So obviously at the moment, sorry for progress being pretty slow, but funds are tight coming into Christmas, festive season, you know what it's like, everything's tight. So trying to do as much as I can without spending as much money as I can at the moment, because I don't have too much spare to spend, and Adam's the same, that's why I haven't seen much of his. But yeah, we're going to do a bit of work on this today, so it's going to be cool. So Rex didn't realise there was no seat and sort of fell into the Cressy and hit his back on the seat rail, and now he's upset.
It hurt. It hurt a lot. It hurt here and here. My heart.
My heart.
My soul.
So the 80 series being also a Toyota, the setup for the brake, oh sorry, I keep saying that. The setup for the clutch master is the same on the Cressy. So I'm hoping it sort of bolts and fits there. It's the same orientation sort of thing. It's just a matter of how much room we've got under the dash, whether that means, you know, we can fit it or not, so we'll find out. So I'm hoping the cruiser pedal fits all up in this area. That'll be good if I save some money. So this is a Land Cruiser clutch pedal setup. As you can see, it's pretty big and bulky. I'm not actually sure it's going to fit under the dash here. It's also got this weird spring helper setup thing on it, but I'm pretty sure we can just remove that if we need to, because it doesn't necessarily need it. Anyway, see if we can fit it up in there. Alright, so the Land Cruiser pedal's just not going to work. There's just not enough room under the dash there, so I'm just going to have to buy a KE Conversions kit, I think. I could maybe screw around with the Commodore pedal and make it fit, but I think for what it's worth, again, same with the mounts, it's easier just to buy the kit that someone's already put the research and development into. That's just sort of a bolt-in kit, so that's what I'm probably going to do. So I'll have to wait until I can afford that. At the moment, I've just pulled out the ECU and stuff, and the loom, pulled the loom out of the firewall and the Cressida here. Getting ready to mount, obviously, or ready for my loom. So that's the ECU there, all been pulled out. So yeah, the Cressidas, they mount them right up underneath, or on top of the glove box up there. So what I'm hoping is that I can mount my PCM in the actual glove box. At the moment, the issue I have is the glove box is not deep enough for the PCM. So, like, even sitting it up against the top, it's just not deep enough for the lid to close. So I'm hoping if I cut out the back of this glove box, I'll have enough room to actually move it back a bit and mount it to the top, and then I can bring all my wiring in through here and mount my OBD scan dongle port for tuning, all that sort of stuff in there as well, and everything can be in there and hidden away but easily accessible. So that'd be ace. So that's what's going on at the moment. We're getting a fair bit of rain out here now, so standard. So anyway, I'll take along with this and see what I can get done. Alright, so I've just cut the arse out of the glove box and just made sure it was big enough that the PCM could fit through it. So I'll just mount it back into the dash now and see if the PCM can go far enough back for the lid to shut. Alright, so bad news, still all this aircon stuff's in the way, it doesn't go back far enough. So that's where it sort of sits, but by the time you get your two plugs on there, the lid is going to clash with them for sure. So I'm going to have to find a different solution. This is like just aircon stuff back here. I wouldn't mind deleting that if I can, but I'm not sure that I can because I'm pretty sure it's going to affect my heater, my whole heater deal. So that's a bit of a pain. All right, so the solution I've come up with is to actually mount the PCM. You can see underneath where the glove box is, you got that nice bar there. If I actually mount the PCM up on its end, I actually have enough room, and then I can cut the top out of the glove box so that it slides in around it. So I've just got here, this is like the original cradle thing the PCM sits in the Commodore engine bay, and it actually has these tabs on it, so it actually holds the PCM up. So what I'm going to do is sort of grind all that off flat, so it's just a box, and get it in there and mount it up there on that bar, so that you can slide the PCM in, and Bob's your Arnie. So hopefully that works. What I'm going to have to do obviously first is cut out the glove box where I think it's going to have to go, and sort of mount it in and make sure you can actually still get the PCM in and out with the glove box in there. Alrighty, so I've sort of just now decided that if you have to take the glove box out to get the PCM out, it's probably not a big deal. Honestly, it doesn't actually really need to be that accessible. I shouldn't have to access it that much. It's, you know, once it's in there and tuned, it should be alright. Obviously it's only like 3 bolts to get the glove box out anyway, so it's not that bad. So what I've done here is just grind it all down. Doesn't look very pretty, but it works. Just grind down all everything that was protruding off it, and I'm just going to get some like Phillips head, what do you call it, countersunk sort of tech screws. Just tech screw it up to that bar up there. Alright, so pretty much the only way this is going to work is to mount the PCM up like so, basically upright, which means it's going to be right in the way of pretty much everything, which is a bit of a pain, but I don't really have any other options to mount it. Like under here is all occupied, footwell's occupied, there's nowhere in the bay that I can fit it. I'm going to be struggling on its own just to get the turbo and everything else I need to in the bay, so, and I can't really put it any further back because I don't have enough length in the loom. So what I've done actually is, out of the bit of glove box that I cut out of the back of the glove box, I've made these two little just plastic mounting tabs which seem to have worked pretty well, and that way the two tabs where they mount to the bar are either side of the PCM, which means I can get at them with the PCM in this bracket, which means basically just slide the PCM in, hook it all up, bolt it up like so, and that's where it's going to sit. So I'm going to have to cut out like a lot of the bottom of the glove box there obviously, and a fair bit more of the glove box is going to have to get cut out, but that's alright. So that's what it looks like, all screwed up, strong enough, and there should be enough room to close the glove box lid. And so as you can see here, I pretty much just cut the whole glove box part of it out, so now it's basically just a lid. As you can see here, it's basically just a door. It's going to house a PCM in there, which is going to be all good. So there you have it, still looks very respectable. Open the glove box, there's PCM hiding in there. Plenty of room up over the top and around the back of it, either side, to get the loom and the plugs. So that's going to be good. So hopefully I can mount sort of my OBD dongle port sort of down somewhere out of the way, and my Defi control box out of the way as well. And they can all hide in there and you wouldn't know any different. That's one thing out of the way, I suppose. These little things take a lot of time, but they all need to be done. Alright, so as far as the cluster goes, I'm not going to worry about trying to adapt the standard cluster because I don't really need any of it. Basically my plan is I've got a spare cluster here that I'm going to break down. I want to build like a bit of sheet over it and basically just run my all-in-one Defi copy, like a big monster taco and probably just a wideband or something. And maybe if I can find on eBay like just a cheap electronic speedo, I'll chuck one in if it's easy enough to do, but I'm not that worried about it because it's going to be a track car anyway. So that's basically what I'm going to do here. I'm going to try and pull this apart and see what I'm looking at as far as how easy that's going to be to do. Alright, so it's all broken down into pieces. So this is basically the main guts of it. That's your main backing plate, pretty much just I'll cut most of that out. Basically my plan is to cut this out and sort of just plate it flat. Broke the cover, getting it off. Doesn't really matter, it was all scratched anyway, that's why I didn't want it on there. But I thought about plating it like all over, just a full plate, goes up like that, but then it's sort of, when it's in the car, it's angled a bit too far up, and I think it's going to be nice to actually plate it at the back there. So I tried to cut this out with a coping saw, but it just keeps breaking because it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to buy a Dremel or something, but that's pretty much my idea, is just to cut it out and then plate over the top of it. But I'll work on getting a Dremel or something else that's actually going to work. That's going to be it for this episode because there's not really much more for me to do. The only other thing I could maybe do is put the loom in and connect it to the PCM, but then it's just going to be in the way in the engine bay, I think, for now. So we're just working on getting our heads around this wiring and trying to do as much as we can. It's not going to cost much. Basically, next episode probably, don't quote me, but probably looking at pulling the fuel tank out and putting the cell and maybe a surge and stuff in, if I can find a surge. If not, I'll try and build one. But yeah, so keep tuned. Sorry for the lack of build content. Like I said, just yeah, tight on funds coming into Christmas, so do what we can with what we got, and we'll see you next time.